is a Scraplift Crafternoon. And we are scrap lifting, oh my gosh, I just looked at it. Scrap Paper UK. And I've got the little thumbnail right here to show. What she's got going on, there's a lot of mixed media behind the elements. And then she's basically used tags and created this cool, like, vertical waterfall-y type look or whatever. In the video, she does put them up on foam, which I love because I'm a foam girl. So I'm going to definitely do that. Little square photo here. Mine's not exactly square, and I'll show you in a second. The title's going down here. Again, more mixed media, a little bit of stamping. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. We'll have to see. A few little elements there. So really fun, kind of artsy-fartsy. My photo is a picture of my daughter behind the scenes. I may have mentioned once or twice, but she did model back when she was a little bit younger. And this was a hot topic. So they flew out to LA. It was kind of fun. So this was her little behind the scenes after they'd done makeup and hair, and she sent that to me. So I like that. And then I have the paper. Well, let me start with the paper because I think that makes a little sense. Is Mente Papers Day by Day. It's from 2020. And I picked it because I think I can cut these into the tags from the layout. Alternatively, there's this back side as well. So I'm going to have to kind of see which, how when I start putting things together, which ones look good together. I have a whole little set. I have other papers. I don't know that I'm going to need anything else, to be honest, based on the fact that basically she used I do have this, like, what is this color? Not sure what the color is. It's basil. It's a smooth cardstock. That's what I'm doing my mixed media on. And I don't know that I'll need anything else after I get these tags out. So this may be the only 2 sheets I use, but I do have some others if I need it. And then what I pulled out is the Distress Oxide. Normally I just like edge stuff in this color, this Hickory Smoke, but I think it looks kind of cool with these. I think the gray is going to look pretty. And then I have this Tattered Rose, which looks like it matches really well with these little roses. So that's kind of my plan. And then I pulled out for the title, I went looking. I had a couple of other fonts I really liked, but I didn't have all the letters. So I've gotten this Kaleidoscope. It's a Hip Kit Club exclusive. And I've really barely touched it, so I had all the letters. So I think this will look neat, the black and white. And then I also went looking and I found just a couple of things. I think I'm going to use, this was like an ombre deal, also Hip Kit Club. This was from December. This was January. This was from, I believe, the December kit. And I think these little things here are in the right color. So I think those will be pretty. I think I can use these couple little pieces of like floral where she used some arrows. And then I also was looking at this, and this is real wintry, so may not really work. But on the other hand, there's a couple, I don't know, there's some photo corners, there's a floral. I may be able to use some of this. So I'm going to play with that. Oh, there's my Saturn. Anyway, that's what I'm going to work with. Oh, my tag punch. That's how I'm going to create my tags. It's by Stampin' Up. I've gotten that at some point. So that's what I'm going to be using. So, and I got to make my tag holes. And a little trick on tag holes is you cut your hole with this piece and you come out with this piece and you can make your little tag hole. So that's my little trick. So I will get myself started. I will probably go ahead and cut the tag pieces, or at least some of them. And then I may show you a few others just from, so you can see how it's done. And then we'll get started. Talk soon. Well, y'all, I lied. Not intentionally. I had told you I was going to use this punch for my tags, which is a great little tool. The problem is it really only has 2 inches. Like that's the width of your tag that you're working with. And when I cut these, I think they're 3 by 4. And I really don't want to mess with these too much. I mean, I don't mind cutting off the corners and stuff, I think. But I don't want to lose like half my image at this point. At least not, I don't think I do. So what I pulled out instead here is my little We Are Memory Keepers, the Works, because it has a tag thing on the side here. So what I'm going to do now is go through and make tags with this guy, and that's what I'm going to use. So I just wanted to make sure I updated you because I'm not going to use this punch after all. I will do something different. Okay, let me get started. All right, everybody. So at this point, I have cut my tags from those 3 by 4 cards. I have scuffed the edges. I use my little We Are Memory Makers, or We Are Memory Keepers little tool there to cut those corners and whatnot. And then I've got my little handmade hole protectors that I use my hole punch and my circle punch. Now, what I also like to usually mention during my live intro, which I forgot this time, but I like to mention the other ladies that are on the hop. So make sure you check out the links below. But we have Kimberly from I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking, Kristen from Scrapping on the Fly, and Anna from Peace Craft Love. And then, of course, the original I showed you during the intro. So just make sure that all those links will be down below. So please make sure you check those out. Now what I've done, okay, so my tags are ready. So I've got my white, actually it's kind of a bone color maybe. But I've got my smooth cardstock, and I'm looking, I've decided I'm going to use this tattered rose. Now, I'm going to be honest, this goes, I love how it turns out, but it doesn't go the way I expected at all. So first I thought, okay, I'll use this packaging technique, and I put that ink on there, squirted my little bit of water, which my water bottle leaks now. I don't know what's going on there. And that wasn't coming out like I wanted, so then I just flapped my little craft mat down on there, and that didn't come out like I wanted. So I finally just said, you know what, poop on it. I'm just going to stick the whole ink down on there with my brush. So I got my magic brush, but this is what really threw me, y'all. That ink is supposed to be pink according to the lid. This is the second time I've used it that I've noticed it comes out with some yellow in it. It's a little strange. I don't know why to do that. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's my brush. My brush was clean. I didn't have anything on it, but it comes out this kind of strange little yellow pink thing. I don't know. It's a little strange, but I squirt the water on it because it is a distress oxide, so it gives you a little interesting watermark looking stuff. And I mean, I don't hate the color. It's just not what I expected. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, perhaps it's just my own ignorance. I don't know. It looks pretty anyway. I do have to go back over it one more time because I just didn't have enough. I didn't feel like it had enough oomph. And then I go on the other side over there to the left because there is a little bit of embellishment that happens on the layout over there. And then I go ahead and squirt some more water on there. Now, of course, when I do all this, it does cause my paper to curl up, and I'll address that in a minute. I do get impatient. I don't want to wait. So I take my napkin, I kind of blot it, which is kind of okay because, again, it does cause that Distress Oxide ink to kind of give you those cool water spots, and I do like that. Now, most of that ends up getting covered up, if I'm 100% honest, because of the tags, but I still think it's real pretty. Now I'm going to take the gray. This time I decided I'm just going to sprinkle it with a paintbrush, so I don't do the packaging technique or anything like that. I just take my little brush here and I just splatter that stuff everywhere. And I really like how this turns out. I think the combination is actually really pretty, and it goes with these papers really well. I'm not going to swear I knew that was what I was going to end up with, but hey, it's okay. I think it looks really pretty. So I'm looking at that. Again, I'm just kind of sprinkling my inks around. Again, most of it gets covered up right there on the right, which makes me a little sad, but it looks good. So I clean my mess up here, but I do, and I also blot my colors again. And like I said, I'm a little too impatient. I could go get my heat gun, but I don't mess with it. I just go ahead and use my napkin. So now I've decided in a second here, I'm going to cut away. And I think, you know, it's a little too curled up. So I decided I'm going to mat it. And I have this sheet of paper. It's got this cool, like, I don't know, I imagine it's like a tile, you know, like maybe from Italy or something like that. Some kind of like tile looking thing. And I'm going to use that as my mat. Now I gut it, which you'll see in a minute. I'm just trimming this white paper, or I guess I need to just decide, am I going to call it white? I'll call it white. It's not a true white. But I trim it down just a little bit, and then I gut this paper here. Now, if I'm honest, I don't know why I left this in here. Y'all know how to gut paper, at least I assume you do. I do have to use my little We Are Memory Maker tool again because I have to have the little blade there. I can't use that green one. I see other people kind of, I don't know how you can gut with that little rotator blade, but this is what I use to gut my papers here. And I just cut basically an inch, a little inch border. And my intention here is to just mat this paper to keep it from, honestly, having that little wet wrinkle looking look. It helps it quite a bit. I'm not going to suggest you can't see it just a tad, but that's okay. I do use some double-sided tape, and I kind of go almost, I mean, normally when I set these down on here, I don't necessarily use so much tape, but because it is kind of curled up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and use a little more tape than I normally would, because the whole point is to try to straighten it out a little bit. So as I mentioned, this picture is from my daughter when she went out to LA. I'll never forget, she was so excited. And the Hot Topic campaign that she was doing, it was during the Han Solo movie that come out. And I don't remember the name of it now. I want to say it was called Han, but no, it was called Solo, I think. But anyway, she got out there, and all the clothes they were selling or were having her model were the clothes for that movie. And it was kind of neat because you had to look a little bit close at it. Like one of the dresses was kind of this yellow-orange dress, and it had the Millennium Falcon all over it. But if you stood back and looked back far away, you couldn't tell that's what it was. You really had to almost get up on it to see that pattern. And there was similar other types of things. There was like little small embroidered, you know, different Star Wars-y type things. But she really enjoyed that. Okay, now I'm kind of going through these tags, and I'm so proud of myself, if I'm honest. I do not overthink this. I had 9 tags because hers had 9. And I will say that because mine were bigger, I did not end up using 9. I believe I used 7, but that's okay. I'm totally cool with that. And I didn't overthink it. I was kind of proud of myself because sometimes I can sit there and go, oh gosh, this tag go here, this tag go there. I don't know. But I didn't, and I thought they turned out nicely. Now, right here, I haven't matted the photo. I will mat the photo. You can see me kind of looking through the papers. And I mat the photo first on this little pattern here. It's just kind of this, on the back side, it had like steps, and it's a little bit seen, but I just ended up matting all that with a little gray cardstock. So I cut away, did the photo mat. Now I'm just going to glue these tags together. And rather than try to figure out, and I still hadn't gone and got the press and seal. I think somebody told me to use press and seal to keep your embellishments like in place. If you put it on there and kind of hold it and press it all down, you can flip them over to glue them. I just go top down with my tape here. They're in a good spot. It's just all kind of flat papery stuff. I'm just going to use my double-sided tape and kind of stick them all together. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of that. But basically the idea here is I just kind of glue them together as a unit with my double-sided tape. And then in a minute, you're going to see I've got the foam right there on the right-hand side. That blue and red stuff is my little craft foam. And I'm going to be done with this in a moment. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to attach that craft foam because she did have her tags all up on foam. I don't remember now. She might have done it a little bit like a unit. I felt she did some of them individually. I don't recall. I just did mine all as a unit because why not? It took me a little less time. This layout didn't actually take me that long. I left a little more of the footage in because I did want to let you see. It seemed to me there were different processes, and I wanted to make sure I included the various different little processes, especially since there was the mixed media and the tags and the different things. So I made sure to keep that in there, but it does make a little bit longer video, even though the layout itself really didn't take me all that much time. So again, I'm just gluing down these pieces of foam, and I'm just creating a kind of a unit here. And I like how that looks. I think that looks a little bit pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my double-sided, or not double-sided tape, my ATG gun on the backs of these things. Now, in a minute, I'm going to scooch over, cut over, and I'm going to have brought my string. What is that called? Twine? It's not, I guess it's kind of twine. Anyway, it's on a little roll. And I'm going to end up cutting that and making my tags. Actually, I haven't done that yet. I take it back. Maybe y'all, I can't remember what I do next. Oh, I'm making this little embellishment coaster on the left. So I started off with that one tag that I thought, okay, maybe I can, use that. I like this pattern here, this little floral. It's really pretty. For sure I want to use that. Now my thing is, okay, now what I kind of put around that, because she had little different things. And I do find a tag that I like. I think it's that one there. Is that the one? I think it is. And I think, okay, I'm going to use that. But then I'm thinking I need one other piece because I kind of need like a little more oomph there. I like that dark pattern there as well. And I end up finding in a moment, see, I'm kind of building this over here. And she had like a label, I think, and some other things. She actually also stamped over there. And I decided I don't want to stamp. I got too scared. I was really happy with how it was coming out, and I thought, I'm going to screw that up if I try to add stamping, so I'm not even going to try it. My don't push my luck. I try not to push my luck. If something's going well, I don't want to screw it up, so I don't push it. So anyway, I got my tag. I did trim off the half of it, and then I'm still looking, but I don't really love how those two pieces are working together, but I find this other little card that has a little like Polaroid looking thing printed on it. So I trimmed that little Polaroid thing out of there. First I'm using my cutter, and then I decided I can't get it close enough. And why, I don't know. I mean, I just needed to look a little better, but I didn't. So I grabbed my scissors and I trim it down. And I do like this little like Polaroid looking thing. And I say Polaroid, it is dark. It's a dark frame, but it looks really good on top of this little light colored tag. I'm gonna keep rotating, fastening around with that a little bit, but it does end up looking like that. I end up leaving it like that. And I bring that little thing over, and then I turn into I get my other pattern. Well, I'm going to attach those first, but I'll get my other pattern in a minute. I'll turn that horizontal. I really like this collection. It's pretty. I'd found it, I think, through Etsy. I'd never even heard of this collection before, or excuse me, this manufacturer before I got this collection. And I just love their stuff. It's so neat. I've done other layouts, and you just fussy cut all their little elements. You can do all kinds of little little neat scenes and different things like that. So this was really pretty. I was happy with it. So now I've gone into my hip kit stuff I showed you guys, and I found this little frame, and I like that, and I set it there first. I do end up moving it, though, because she had the title going down that side over there, and I do pull out my foam. I think they're hip kit letters as well. I think I said that in the beginning. Hip kit letters. I'm going to spell out beauty, but that little frame's kind of in the way, so I end up moving that. Oh, well, I've already jumped over to that, and really technically I do the strings first. I don't know why I do things in the order I do. You know, sometimes you get done with it. I think I was still kind of thinking about that, and I thought, well, I know I'm going to do these strings. So I'm going to put these strings in just, she doesn't put them in all of her tags, so I don't put them in all of my tags. I think I did 4. And I'm going to cut away in a second because you don't need to see me tie 4 bows. But I put that one there, and then I got a couple more. I'm just kind of tying those little bows. And you can see where I got the little 4 strings. And I've got that little cluster up there. Now, this is where I realize I'm going to have to scoot you over because I want my B to be, I want my letters to kind of line up there. Now, I just kind of set them down at first, or not. That's not where they actually end up in the end. I mean, they do kind of end up there, but not exactly. So I just set it down first to see where the title would go and how long it would fit and all the good things. I think these letters are okay. It's kind of got this little kaleidoscope, or like, what am I saying, kaleidoscope? Like a prism looking thing pattern on the letters. So they're black and white with this little like prism looking thing. And I'm sticking these down here, and I'm realizing in just a second I'm going to have to get my T-square because I'm pretty certain they're not really lined up. They're not too bad, but they're not really straight, so I end up trying to move them. Now that A gives me a little bit of fits because his little bottom seems wider than the other letters, and so I have to kind of adjust that a little bit. But I end up liking how this turns out too. Let's see if I can get that A straight, y'all. There's beauty. I couldn't really think of any other title. That just struck me when I was thinking about it. And I actually looked at other letters. I think I mentioned that in the beginning. I had other fonts I was looking at, and I liked them. I wouldn't even say better, but they were the first ones I was gravitating toward. But I either didn't have an A or I didn't have an E, or, of course, you know, always the vowels, right? So I've got beauty spelled out. That was pretty easy. I think I'm going to hop over now. I'm looking to see if there's any little shapes or something that makes sense to use, but I decide no. So now I'm over at the little hip kit puffy stickers that was from the winter, the December 2021, I think it was. And I got those little branches, I guess is what they are. And the color looks really pretty. And at first I wasn't going to use the little blue pieces, but then I realized in my pattern paper, there are some little teal touches. So I decided to go ahead and add those teal stars, or those little, I guess that's a teal. I want to call it a teal. The little teal color. And it does match inside the pattern paper. Like I said, there's like a little notebook or this or that, and there's that color's kind of peeking out here and there. And I decided I like how that looks quite a bit. And so I put everything up because honestly I felt like I had a huge mess. And I went and got my Cocoa Vanilla These Days. I still have some of that sticker sheet left. And I love how they have these word phrases. And I just found a few little word phrases that talk about her being beautiful and her smile and all that kind of stuff. And I put that on the corner down there. She had some little word phrases down there, so it goes pretty good. I think they were actually in a little different spot, but it's close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. I think it looks pretty good. I'm looking at these little enamel dots. They're kind of a pale green, but they just don't go, so I set them back to the side. And I'm looking at this, and I decide, nope, you're done. I'm good with you. She sprinkled a little more paint. I decided not to do that. So here's the close-up. You can kind of see the dimension and all the strings and stuff. I really liked how this turned out. It was a fun layout to do. The mixed media scares me, but I was pretty pleased with how I did on that one. So thank you guys for watching so much. Please make sure you like and subscribe and check out all the other ladies below. They work very hard. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.